If you're a sports health or fitness coach and you're thinking about starting a Skool community, you absolutely should. Today, I'm going to walk you through how I'd create one. In fact, I'm creating one for my buddy and my pickleball coach, Zach Shook. Zach Shook is the head pickleball coach at the Missouri Pickleball Club. It's the largest indoor facility in Missouri. He's also a new dad, and so I know that Zach has zero time. And so I offered to build his school for him and help him get it off the ground because, well, that's what I do. My name's Jason. I'm the former CMO of that pickleball school in Savvy Basketball. And these days, I teach and help other people grow their school communities, especially if they're in the sports, health, or fitness niche. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to do your About page. I'm going to show you how to set up your classroom for success. I'm going to talk about the Skool community offer that everyone has. I'm going to tell you exactly how to schedule your first calendar event and then invite the first people into your community. Basically, everything you need to start earning extra money. I know that earning money from Skool can change lives because I've seen it and I've helped other communities grow from $5,000 to $10,000 to $45,000 a month in MRR and become two of the top sports communities on the entire platform. If you're a sports, health, or fitness coach and you've been thinking about joining Skool, build alongside me and you'll have a head start on your Skool community over the next hour. There are 5 areas that I like to think through whenever I'm starting a new Skool community or whenever I coach other communities in my own community, great community leaders, to show them how to turn what they do in real life as a coach or a fitness trainer into something that they can scale online. And if you're wondering how you can do this for yourself or connect with me, you can go to Great Community Leaders, click Start Free Trial, and hit me up. Would love to talk to you. So the 5 areas that I like to think about are foundations, offers, attract, convert, deliver, plus community. And we're gonna dig into each one of these as we build up this school. So first and foremost, it's foundations. So I know that Zach is a local pickleball coach. And so when we talk about foundations, what I'm really asking is, there's 2 main questions for business owners. 1, who do you serve? And 2, what kind of transformation do you help them achieve? One of the easiest ways you can do this is to actually go to AI. I prefer Claude, but if you like ChatGPT or Grok or whatever, pick an AI and go with it, and then just have a conversation to help you get started with not only who you serve, but how you serve them and how you can build your Skool community around those transformations that you're going to help them accomplish for themselves. And so I would go to AI. I'm going to pretend to be Zach here. I need to tell my AI that I'm pretending to be Zach, otherwise it's going to get really confused and start to use my own knowledge, or it's going to start to use my own profile instead of what I'm trying to do here. So, but for you, you would use your AI and you would just talk to it, go back and forth, basically tell it what you're trying to do, get some audience insights, ask it what you should do when trying to serve that community. So I just put in a prompt and I basically said like, hey, I'm Zach Shook. Here's a little bit about who I am. I'm wanting to build a foundations. Basically, I want to know, who I serve, how I help them, what transformation I help them achieve. And I want AI to provide me some audience insights. So some deeper insights into their wants, their desires, maybe even some objections to that they might have for joining me online. Now, the reason we want to do this is because when we have audience insights, when we know their desires, their wants, their objections, it becomes easier to market to them. It becomes easier to speak their language. It becomes easier to convert them down the road. It tells us what type of content we should create. It tells us what questions they're going to have, when they hear about our community or they're considering joining our community. And so doing this work early and now saves us so much time down the road. And what's nice about AI today is that this gets done in a few seconds. Coming from a marketing background, I've been in marketing for 12 years. I used to have to do these audience insights by going through Reddit, by going through different Facebook groups, by going online and doing research myself, right? You had to kind of guess a little bit as to what your audience wanted. And now it's just literally just a quick paragraph or 2, and you have everything that you need organized for you, and you have everything that you'll need, down the road. So in Zach's case, it mentions the Plateau 3.0. So this is, no matter the sport, there's usually a skill gap between the regular everyday player and the really good people. And most of your audience, especially the audience that wants to get better at their thing, usually about 70 to 80% of them all fall within that lower gap of, hey, I'm decent, I'd like to get better, but I'm not like the best. When we're talking to our niche, we want to make sure that we're talking to the right people. And so for Zach, a lot of people who come to him as a pickleball coach are typically within the 3.5, 4.0 range, right? If you're a more advanced coach, you may only want to cater toward advanced people. If you're in the fitness space and you only help bodybuilders or heavy lifters, you want to make sure that you're talking to them specifically. And so one of the reasons we do these audience insights is so that we know exactly who we're talking to. When you're thinking like, well, I help anyone, I can help anyone in fitness, I can help anyone, hit a pickleball better or play tennis better. Cool. But when you're marketing, you want to talk to a specific person. And the more specific you can get, the easier it is to have them convert. So another really nice thing about this is Zach can notice the competitive edges that he has. So Missouri Pickleball Club happens to be an indoor space. And so what's nice about that is in St. Louis, we do have winter. We have snow. You can't really play outside, every day of the year. And so, but you can play inside every day of the year. And so Zach actually has an advantage with that. And so it's nice to have these insights kind of pull out those competitive advantages that Zach would have that maybe you wouldn't have thought of to begin with. So inside my community, Great Community Leaders, I have resources that tell you essentially how to create your foundation, how to create your offers. And the three main questions that people usually have when starting a business that they need to answer is, who is this for? What change do you help them achieve? And why you are the person that can help them achieve this. And so whenever I have someone start to build their Skool community and they're trying to figure out their foundations a little bit more, I have them fill out this foundations worksheet. So foundations worksheet helps you answer those questions. It asks you different things like your vision, your niche, your proof, your offer, right? What are you currently doing to attract people to your Skool community? Or into your business. And so it's great to have a foundations worksheet like this, because then once you fill this out one time and have it, you can load it into your AI, and then AI can pull your answers from that to help you generate better answers down the road and build your Skool community the right way from the start. And so if you want a foundations worksheet, I've attached it to the description in the video, and you can grab it right there and make a copy yourself and answer the questions and then load it into your AI as you're kind of building out these audience insights and building your foundations for your community. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fill this out as though I'm Zach, and we'll kind of go from there. Okay, so this is Zach's foundations worksheet. I'm going to take this, I'm going to download it as a PDF, just the current tab. I'm going to go back to my AI, and I'm just going to load it up in here so that it has more information about Zach and what he's trying to do. So I load it in there and I basically say like, hey, here's more information about what I'm trying to do. Here's how to continue to build my foundations. And the next thing I want to do is actually I want to start working on the offers that I'm going to start with, and try to get people into my community with. There's a saying in the marketing world, in the business world, where the offer is everything. If your offer sucks, it doesn't matter how good your marketing is, it's always going to fail, or it's always going to struggle, and you're going to be capped at how much money you can make. But when you find the right offer, you can actually have subpar marketing and do really, really well, because the right offer to the right person at the right time changes everything. And so we want to spend a little extra time on building out our offers, make sure that we feel good about them, and then most importantly, we want to put them in front of people so that we can get feedback immediately on whether or not those offers resonate with that particular person. So the thing I like to use in order to create decent offers is a tool I created called the Transformation Bridge. So the Transformation Bridge basically says like, hey, there's someone over here on the far end of this that's happy, that's in their desired state. They're where they want to be. But closer to us is the person that they are. They're unhappy. They have something that they want to solve for, and you're the bridge in between. You're the person that's going to help them get from one side of the bridge to the other, from sad to happy, from current state to desired state, right? But there are steps along the way. And so these individual rungs are the things that they're going to cross. And it's your job to get them from one to the other. Now, imagine a bridge is on a 12-month timeline. It could be 6 months, it could be 18 months, it could be 10 years, it doesn't matter. Whatever that timeline is to go from current state to happy state, it's your job to navigate them through that timeline. And part of the problem with making an offer that's too grandiose or on too long of a time frame is that people can't really wrap their heads around past 6 months. If you tell someone, hey, we can work together, you're going to lose 100 pounds, it's going to take you 12 months to 18 months, you've lost them. Most people aren't willing to just commit unless they know you and unless they've worked with you in the past. Most people aren't willing to just commit to a 12-month time frame. They are willing to commit to a 3-month time frame, or a 1-month time frame, or a 7-day time frame, maybe even a 6-month time frame. But most core offers fall within a 90-day period, a 3-month period. That's when they're going to get maybe 60% of the results that they want overall. Most core offers exist on a 90-day timeline, and that's because it's easier for people to wrap their heads around that time frame. And so when I think about a core offer, I think, what are the results that I can help someone achieve in 90 days as opposed to trying to pitch a 12-month program? And so let's say that you can help someone achieve, 100-pound weight loss in 12 months, but you're having trouble getting that person to commit to 12 months. So then you want to think, okay, over 90 days, how much weight can I help them achieve? And it might be 30 pounds or 40 pounds, or 50 pounds or 15 pounds, whatever. Whatever that 90-day transformation is, that's what you want to use as your core offer. And so the Transformation Bridge helps you do that, because what you can do is you can take your 12-month time frame and say, okay, well, if 100 pounds in 12 months If they can get to 4 or 5 in pickleball in 12 months, what can they do in 6 months? Well, maybe they get to 50 pounds or 60 pounds in 6 months. And in pickleball or tennis or something, maybe they get to 3.5 or 4.0 in 6 months if they're starting at like a 2.5 or a 3, right? And then you break it down in half again. Okay, well, if that's 6 months, what can they achieve realistically, but also a little bit of aspiration, you want to stretch it a little bit. What can they achieve in 90 days? Well, if I can help someone lose 100 pounds in 12 months and 50 to 60 pounds in 6 months, I can probably help them lose 30 pounds in 3 months. Okay, my core offer is if you work with me over 90 days, I can help you lose 30 pounds. But it's not just about the loss. It's not just about the outcome. It's about the emotion. It's about the daily activities, right? If you help someone lose 30 pounds, for most people, you're significantly going to change their life because now they're going to the gym every day. They're probably counting calories. They've learned to up their protein, right? So in Zach's case, since he teaches pickleball, if you can help someone go from 3.0 to 4.0 in 90 days or 3.5 to 4.0 in 90 days, what does that mean for them? Well, they're winning more games. They're probably playing more consistently. They're not leaving the court feeling like the worst player on the court, right? They're being told by their teammates that they're a really good player and other people want to play with them. That's the qualitative results that they're getting, not just the quantitative, which both are important. And so when I think about offers, I think about the core offer first, 90-day offer first, and then I chunk it down even more, okay? At 90 days, they get this. At 30 days, they can achieve this. At 7 days, just working with me for a week, you can achieve this thing. And I think where a lot of people go wrong when they're creating Skool communities is they just have that one transformation in mind. And so what the transformation bridge does is it gives you multiple transformations to build offers around. And so what I want to do next is I have this prompt, and you can also find this in the foundations worksheet that I gave you. There's actually multiple tabs. You can see over here, you see foundations, audience insights, transformation bridge. You can get all of that, have AI fill it out for you. You don't even have to fill it out, and kickstart your foundations and your Skool community right away with just those few tools. So I'm going to take this transformation bridge prompt. I'm going to go back to AI. I'm going to say, hey, here is my transformation bridge prompt. Please fill it out for me and give me my offers, and drop it right here. By the way, if at this point you're thinking, why the heck haven't we built the Skool yet? It's because everyone skips this part. And you know what ends up happening? Because they don't have an offer, because they don't know who they serve, they just put a bunch of crap that doesn't mean anything on their about page, and nobody ever converts because it doesn't mean anything. And so people end up just like adding a bunch of pictures, adding a bunch of copy, going to AI for the silliest stuff, and then putting something on their about page or their Skool, page that really doesn't move the needle. And so by taking a few minutes and doing the thing that nobody else does, you're going to be so much further ahead than anyone else starting your Skool community. It's going to be so much easier for you to actually start making money on Skool instead of wasting weeks, potentially months, just spinning your wheels, changing your about page 27 times when all you had to do was take 15 minutes and do this, and you'd be off to the races. Okay, so for Zach, it's given me a 3-month core offer. It's calling it the 4.0 climb. You can like that or not. I'm not so worried about the name. I'm more interested in like the actual like mechanism and the actual like offering that Claude or AI is providing you, and then choosing the things that make sense and getting rid of the things that don't. The 4.0 climb, they're suggesting 3 payments of a 197 for a 497 total. Unforced errors, cutting unforced errors, going from 3.5 to 4.0 in 90 days. Totally possible with pickleball. Then it gives me a 1-month attraction offer, the 30-day leak fix. I don't know that that's a term that you would use for pickleball, but the idea is basically like, hey, let's start to remove some of those unforced errors that you're already doing. And then this prompt will also give you some other challenge ideas. So 7-day options, the leak audit, which I don't like. 7 days to a better third. So the third shot in pickleball is one of the most important shots in the entire game. So spending a week on getting a really good third shot is actually something worthwhile that people would probably want to do. Kill your worst point, another terrible suggestion by AI. Okay, and let's say, I like these. I'm like, okay, this is going to be my core offer. This is going to be my attraction offer. This is going to be my 7-day challenge offer. What you would do is you would take the things you like, plug them into your foundations worksheet, right? Just replace this prompt with those or click a new tab. And that gives you at least something to start with as far as an offering goes for your community. But you still don't need to build anything inside your community just yet. Okay, so now that the AI has provided us some offers, I want to see like, hey, do I like any of these? Do I want to double click? Do I want to have AI create me some better offers? Or do I just have a good sense of like what I'm going to offer anyway? So Zach, one of the things with pickleball is that you can climb at the 3.0, 3.5, 4.0 level, you can climb rather quickly. So in 90 days, you could actually go from a 3.5 to a 4.0. You could go from a 3 to a 4.0 if you work really hard. You could even go from a 4.5 to a 5.0 or a 4 to 5, 4.5. I know that's a lot of numbers I'm throwing at you, but just translate that for your sport, right? You know, if it's basketball, maybe it's a higher percentage of free throws. Maybe it's a higher percentage of threes that you would, convert. Go from 60% free throw shooter to a 90% free throw shooter in 90 days. Whatever. You basically want a 90-day offer to be realistic, but also aspirational. One of the ways that it helps me is to think of like, okay, if my perfect student went through this program and actually did the things that I told them to do and did them correctly, how fast could they achieve whatever results that they got? And so you want to kind of pretend that everyone is kind of your ideal student with the idea that like, hey, results may vary. And so the big thing for pickleball would be go from a 3.5 to 4.0 in 90 days. That is very much achievable. In fact, AI is right. Eliminating unforced errors is a really easy way to do that. And so for Zach, I would go to his foundations worksheet. I would click new tab and I would type in offers, right? So a 90-day core offer, go from 3.5 to 4.0 in 90 days. Or said differently, if you don't want to, because some people might already be a 4.0, some people might be a 4.5. You could say gain a half point in Duper, which is the rating system for pickleball. Translate that to whatever your rating system is. Gain a half point in Duper in 90 days or less. So that means go from 3.5 to 4.0 or 4.0 to 4.5, 4.5 to 5.0. If someone's at 3.0, they could go all the way to 4.0 probably. Okay, so that's a pretty decent core offer. That's something that a lot of pickleball players will be really happy to achieve. Then we get into the 1 month attraction offer. What is something that they can achieve in 30 days? Well, if they can gain a half point in 90 days, what can they actually achieve in 30 days? Well, maybe, if we go by what AI is providing us here, they can eliminate some of their mistakes. So the 30-day option that I like for this is pick your number one leak. Pick the number one thing that you're having the most trouble with and fix that in 30 days. For some people, that might be the serve. For others, it might be a return. For others, it might be a third shot drop or a third shot drive, right? What's the one thing that you're struggling with the most? And let's just simply focus on that for an entire 30 days, which for most people in any sport and even fitness, if I was told, I hate doing lunges, but I understand that lunges are something that's very important to lifting weights and getting fit. And so if somebody said to me, hey, within 30 days, you'll become a better lunger, right? Maybe that's something that I would be interested in, because if I can spend 30 days and be better at it for the rest of my life, that's a good trade-off, right? Most people, that's a good trade-off. And so our 30-day offer could be a 30-day fix your number one problem challenge, 30 days to a better serve. If you want to get really specific, have everybody in the community kind of geared towards the same thing, you could pick a specific shot or a specific outcome and have everyone work towards that. And so for Zach, what I would actually do is 30-day offers. I would write a few. So I would say 30 days to a better, more powerful serve, 30 days to never miss a return again, 30 days to a better third shot drive, 30 days to better drops, right? So now we have 4 different 30-day attraction offers that we can cycle through. We can start with one, start to get feedback on it, see if people are actually interested in that thing. And the reason a 30-day offer is so important is because when someone's paying a recurring subscription, what are they doing? They're actually considering every single month whether or not they should pay you again, right? They're looking at their bills and saying, am I using this? Is this good for me? And if they see, okay, well, next month I get to improve my serve, well, that might be something that's interesting to them and that they actually want to do. And that's why we want to have different attraction offers to keep people interested in coming back to our Skool community and interested in paying us more money. And then finally, the 7-day offer. So the reason a 7-day offer is important is for similar reasons. Some people might not be willing to commit for 30 days, but they will give you a try for a week. Especially with Skool, you get to offer a 7-day free trial. And so if you can help someone within that first week get a win that they actually want to achieve, get a result, get an outcome, then it's much more likely that they're going to convert after the 7-day free trial and stick around for a month, 2 months, 3 months, or even longer. And so I go back to the AI and I see, okay, what are the 7-day options? Once again, what's your biggest blunder? What's the thing you need the most help on? 7 days to a better third, kill your worst point. What I would actually do, and this would go for a lot of sports, right? Usually you have multiple shots. And in pickleball and tennis, like the first 5 shots are typically the most important shots. And so what I would actually do is I would say like each day of the 7 days is working on a specific shot. And so I might say like 7 days, 7 shots challenge. And day 1 is serve, day 2 is return, day 3 is third shot drop. Day 4 is third shot drive. Day 5 is fourth shot pressure. Day 6 is, and you just name the most popular shots within your sport or the most popular exercises or the most popular lifts, depending upon what your niche actually is. But each day is something a little different. And each day is about getting a little bit better at that thing. Because what you want to do is you want to entice people to stick around past the 7 days. And so when you can get them that result that they actually want, they're much more likely to do it. Now, the other way you can do this is something that happened inside one of the communities that I work with, Vita Surf. So Vita Surf is a surfing community. And in surfing, one of the biggest things that you can do is get a better pop-up. And so there are certain exercises you can do. There are certain drills that you can do in order to pop up off the surfboard better. And the better you are popping up, the longer your surfing experience is going to be. I don't surf, so I don't know exactly. But I do know that the pop-up is a very important part of that. And so they installed a 7-day pop-up fix challenge. And they all of a sudden went through the roof with the results. They started getting 4, 5, 6, 15 new members a day. They changed their paid ads. They changed their social strategy, all to specifically talk to the 7-day pop-up challenge instead of just improve your surfing. And they were able to decrease their ad spend, and they were able to increase their conversion rate across the board. And all of a sudden, over the course of 2 weeks, they got 100 new signups for their community by just changing their 7-day offer. And then many of those people converted after the 7-day free trial because they saw the value of being inside the community. And so that's the power that you can have with a 7-day challenge that coincides with that 7-day free trial. So with them, it wasn't about a bunch of different things. It was about choosing one thing and going super deep to fix that one thing over the course of that week. And so you can do either. You can either have multiple solutions within that week or just one really good solution that everybody wants. For pickleball, that might be faster hands. So 7 days to faster hands. Okay, so now I have a 90-day core offer. I have 30-day offers that I can cycle through or, pick one and go with. And then I have a 7-day offer that I can also go with. Okay, and we can't talk about offers without talking about pricing. So whenever people talk to me about pricing their community, there's a few different things that usually come up. One is that pricing is oftentimes more emotional than logical. And so I kind of always tell this story when we were first starting that pickleball school, which I was the chief marketing officer for almost 2 years. When we were first starting it, the way we figured out the pricing was Kyle, the owner of the school and the creator of that pickleball school and the co-creator of that pickleball school, along with his business partner, Tyler, they said, hey, if this was priced at $19 a month, would you buy it? And I said, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Of course I would. If it was at $29 a month, would you still buy it? I said, yeah, $29, that sounds about right. Then they said, okay, what about $39 a month? And I said, ooh, okay, yeah, I'd probably still pay $39 a month. Like, I trust you. I know you. I think it would be really good. What about $49 a month? Ooh, no, $49 a month, that's too much. Almost $50 a month. I don't think I could justify that. Guess what price we chose? $39 a month to start. Now it's up to $49 a month, but it was $39 a month to start. That's literally how we came up with the pricing. And so I always tell people, just pick a price. It's so much easier to just pick a price, go with it, and then just make your value worth that price as opposed to trying to figure out the perfect price to get from the start. Because until you get feedback, until people actually start joining or not joining, you don't actually know what you should price your community. A few pricing rules that I do go by. Always pick 7s and 9s. 49 is way better than 50. 99 or 97 is way better than 100. When something's $49 as opposed to $50, it feels a lot cheaper because it's not over that threshold. And so if you're just have no idea what to choose 9, 19, 27, 39, 49, 77, or 97. Those are really the only prices you need to choose from. If you're more expensive than that, still choose the 7s. 147 is always going to be better than 150. 197 is going to be better than 200. So just pick a price and just say, no matter what that price is, I'm going to make it worth it. And once you start to collect some data, you can decide whether or not you want to raise the price. And then one note on lowering prices. I personally don't like to lower prices. Instead, I'd rather increase the value. And so if you're finding that you priced something too high and you're not getting enough people to convert, or you're getting feedback like, hey, that's just too expensive, instead of lowering the price, I would actually increase the value. Okay, I'm also going to add in this thing. Now, is it worth it? I'm also going to add in this thing. Now, is it worth it? Maybe at some point you do have to lower price or introduce a lower tier, but you don't have that problem yet, so don't worry about it. Pick one price, go with that price, and just move forward. And the way on Skool that you would change prices is you go to your settings, you go to pricing, and you'll be given a few different options. So you have free, you have subscription, which is month over month. You have freemium, which means that you'll have multiple tiers, at least two. One tier will be free, the other tier will be paid. You can see here, standard becomes free, premium becomes a price. You have tiers, which means that you have at least two different prices. So you might have a monthly option, which is $39 a month, and you might have an annual option, which is $399 a month, or you might have a $9 a month option, a $29 a month option, or a $9 a month option and $90 a month option, right? So you can kind of play with this a little bit. When you're first starting, I would suggest everyone either do free because you want to get people in and you actually want to get some feedback on whether or not this offer is good, right? You want to start having those conversations, or you do one set price. And in Zach's case, it might be $19 a month to start because he is pulling from a network of people that he currently works with. He's already making money off of them. He just wants to use this as an extension to either make more money or kind of build it out so that he can charge, outside people for this thing at some point. But right now, as he's just getting started, we're actually going to start with free and then invite people to join for free so that he can start to build out his classroom, build his offering a little bit more, and then at some point roll it out into a paid offering to the world. The other settings that you want to go to is discovery. So once you start to build out your page a little bit, you'll be able to be found on what's called Skool Discovery. So think of Skool Discovery as the search engine. So you can click these little arrows up here, go to Discover Communities, and you'll see a list of communities here. Now, if you go to sports, you'll see Pickleball School. You can see trending, you can see top, you can see different languages, right? What's the Spanish one? Sports, currently trending. Vita Surf is currently number 2. This is who I mentioned earlier. That's just been killing it lately. So one of the things you want to do inside your community settings is go to discovery and start to put some keywords. So your keywords should be words that somebody would actually search when they're looking for your school. So if you have clients, they probably know you by name or your brand or whatever. And so for Zach, we would put Zach Shook. We would do pickleball, right? That's kind of a big topic. Might do pickleball training. Might do improve at pickleball. You get up to 11 different keywords or phrases that you can put in there. Typically, you want to stick to 1 to 2 words because that's typically what people search for. If you're offering personal fitness, maybe you want to speak to the more of the lifts that you do, right? Deadlift help, bench help. If you're more of a personal trainer and you have specific things that you help people achieve, you might want to, do those outcomes, lose weight, gain muscle, or lift heavier. If you are doing your specific sport, you want to use some of the keywords that people would use. Basically anything that they would put into that search box to try and find a school for them and what they're trying to accomplish. That's what you want to put inside your discovery. If you're ever unsure, you can literally go to your favorite AI and ask AI, hey, I'm trying to figure out the keywords for my school community. You can even go to the one that you're already working on and say, hey, I need to figure out the keywords, keep them to 1 to 2 words for my school community to be found on Discovery. Can you help me come up with 6 of those? All right, so pickleball coaching, pickleball drills, pickleball strategy, duper, pickleball tournaments. You can put all of those in here. So pickleball coaching, pickleball drills. Since Zach is local, he would probably do St. Louis pickleball. He could also do Missouri Pickleball Club, since that's the club that he's a head coach at. Pickleball strategy, duper, which is the rating system, and then pickleball tournaments. Now, if these aren't moving the needle for you, or if you come up with better words later, you can always get rid of some and add other ones, but you can get up to 11 combinations of words. Okay, so that's under discovery. Next, we want to go to general. You can change your group name here. For now, we're going to stick with Zach Shook Pickleball, but he might also be more interested in St. Louis Pickleball or Missouri Pickleball. For now, we want to keep it obvious with who he is and what he's offering. And then group description. So Zach Shook is the head pickleball trainer at Missouri Pickleball Club. This is a group dedicated to improving their pickleball skills. Again, group description can always change later. Don't overthink it when you're first starting out. We'll get into icons and cover images later. Not worried about payouts right now. Pricing, we're leaving us free. Affiliates, we're not worried about. But let's say that you want to use affiliates to attract. Let's say you want to reward other people for attracting other people into your community. You can set affiliates 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%. And essentially what that means is everybody who's inside your community would get a special link that's specific to them. They can share that link with another person. And if that person converts, then they get a percentage kickback on every person that actually uses their link to join the community. So it's a good way to incentivize other people, other members of your community, to pull in more people like them. Another setting with the $9 hobby plan, you get a few plugin settings. When you run a free community, if you also want to collect emails, if you run in a paid community, it automatically collects emails. But if you run in a free community, you actually have to ask for the email. As an email marketer, it always breaks my heart when people don't turn this on. And so I would suggest to you, even if you have no clue what you're going to do with it right now, start collecting emails inside a free group right away, because you might need those down the road. So I would turn this on. I would go to add question. First question is, what is your email address? Put in email, add. Now you can add other questions if you want, like Zach might want to know, what is your current duper? Okay to estimate. In multiple choice, you can say 3.0, 3.5, 4.0, 4.5 plus. And then you get one more question. Zach might want to know, are you interested in personal coaching in St. Louis? Okay, yes or no. Okay, so now everyone who joins is going to be asked those 3 questions. You can use those questions to help inform you on decisions you make, whether it's creating content, whether it's finding out what type of lift someone's working on, what kind of fitness level they're currently at, what are they trying to accomplish with whatever they're doing inside your community. And you can use those questions to just filter out your community, but then also understand like who is the type of person that you're actually bringing into the community once they start joining. If you're worried about spammers, you can turn on this unlock chat at a level. So when people join a community and they start to like posts, or they start to be active inside the community, and when they start engaging with other people, they start to go up in levels. And so you have level 1, level 2, level 3, and you can go through those pretty quickly. But if you're worried about people spamming your community, coming inside and being a bot, or trying to scam other members of your community, you can turn on these different security features. I personally don't mind it too much, because Skool does actually a really great job of getting rid of scammers and spam bots. But if that is something you're worried about, you can turn these on. And then these other features you don't need to worry about yet. These are with the Pro plan. You would pay $99 a month as opposed to $9 a month. If you want to, for instance, auto DM new members, so that would send them an auto message from you, which is super helpful. And if you do decide to upgrade, you want to turn that on. But for now, you don't have to worry about that. And then other things like Zapier integration, Metapixel tracking, Google Ads, links, you really don't have to worry about any of that right now. Those are problems for down the road, and you can always, play around with that stuff to see if you actually need it or not. Another thing I like to do inside the settings is go to the community, go to tabs. So the tab is Classroom, Calendar, and Map. If you want people to see where they are located around the world, which is kind of cool to see sometimes. In fact, I can show you my community. So my community is Great Community Leaders. You can click this map, and it'll show you that I have people from all across the world. I'm heaviest in the United States, but then you can see for some reason, people in Germany love me. But you can see that for whatever reason over in Germany and France, I have a lot of members from that area. So this is a kind of, this is a neat little feature that Skool offers. But if you're worried about security, or if you just don't care, you can just turn that feature off. For Zach, I would leave it on because he's in St. Louis, and he would want people to be able to partner up or even meet up with other members from around the area. The other part of community that I like to mess with is categories. So the default one is general discussion, but I also like to make one for wins. I like to make one for announcements. I like to make another one for polls. And you can do whatever you want with these. And what these are is inside the community tab, you'll see general discussion, and these allow people to filter wins, announcements, calls. You can see this inside Great Community Leaders. So I have general discussion, I have welcome and introductions, I have celebrations, I have announcements, I have a certain course that people go through, and then calls so that people know if they want to see like, oh, did I miss any calls? Are there any replays? Are there any calls coming up? They can click this and they can see just those specific posts. Another thing you can do if you want to, you can set rules. So be positive, no self-promotion, make an effort, just general rules. I usually just leave those as they are. Okay, so now let's do a quick rundown of what we've done so far. We've done our foundations. We know who we serve and we know how we serve them. We've done our offers. We know our 90-day core offer, we know our 30-day challenge offer, and we know our 7-day attraction offer. Now I want to get into what our about page actually says. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to write the about page. So for the about page, oftentimes people don't know what the heck they're doing. And so oftentimes they leave it up to AI. What I actually have for you is a framework called the Nomad framework. So this is a popularized framework by Andrew Kirby, who was the first investor in Skool. And if you watch Skool News at all, you'll see him alongside Sam Ovens. He created the Nomad framework, and it's been a great framework to teach other people how to write their about page well. So Nomad, Nomad, stands for niche, outcome, mechanism, authority, and deliverables. So what you can do is you can go back into that foundations worksheet and you'll see an about page copy, and you'll see an AI prompt there that's going to help you create about page copy using the Nomad framework. You're going to take that, you're going to copy it, you're going to go back to the chat where you were working with your AI, and you're going to just put that there. And instead of just some AI slop that anyone could create, you're actually going to create something that works for Skool. You may have to work with the AI to answer some questions if there's any gaps or in its understanding or things that it doesn't have the answer to. Just give it the answer. Okay, so once it gives you some copy, you're going to go back to your sheet. You're going to go to the about page copy section. You can put it in here, and then you can start noodling. Or if you like it the way it is, you can plug it in to your about page right away and just go with it. Another note on about pages. So this will change over the course of your Skool career. It doesn't have to be set in stone. It's really just the initial information that you want to give to someone. And so a few notes about this. One, you always want to speak directly to your avatar. If you try to speak to everyone, you speak to no one. And so you want to be specific who you're actually talking to. Two, it's better to be clear, not clever. So often I see people trying to be clever or putting something that they think is funny or interesting. And oftentimes those types of things just don't resonate and confuse people. And there's a saying in marketing, if you're confusing, you're losing. And then finally, for the call to action, you want it to be crystal clear. What is the thing that they need to do next in order to actually join the group? And so when I'm looking at this copy, I want to think through those things. Is this clear who this is for? Is this clear rather than clever? Is it obvious what the next step is for the person to join my community? And so I can already tell right away that this is not necessarily what I want. You've played 3 nights a week. For a year, your rating hasn't moved. For Zach, and because he's in St. Louis and because he's trying to attract local people first, he wants to actually say, if you're a 3.0 to 4.5 level pickleball player in St. Louis, Missouri, this group is for you. Now, is that the best copy in the world? No, absolutely not. But it's crystal clear. If you fall within this range and this demographic, this is for you. I created this for you. And then I want to get into who Zach is. I'm Zach Shook, head trainer at the biggest indoor pickleball club in Missouri and a 5.0 plus player. I've coached and competed around the world. Here's what I've learned watching thousands of games. Almost everyone loses the same 3 points over and over. Find those 3, fix them in order, and ratings take care of themselves. Now, that might be true, but we're not going to go with that. Instead, we want to talk about the outcome that people get. I help pickleball players. So one of the things that I know about Zach and that you would know about yourself is what type of coach are you? When you're a coach or a trainer, you have different types of coaches and trainers. Some like to focus on technique, some focus on strategy, some focus on the mental side. Now, I know Zach is very much into technique and the technical side of things. And so you want to lean into your strengths. You don't want to say, hey, I coach everything for everyone all the time. I'm the best. You want to say, hey, if you like a coach who focuses more on where your elbow should be or the technique you're using as opposed to the mind games that you have to overcome, then I'm the coach for you. Because you don't want to bamboozle someone into joining your community. You want people to enter your community who actually want to work with you. And so you want to be just clear about who it is you help and who it is you don't help. And then you want to say, what do they get inside the group? So inside this free group, yours wouldn't say free if it's paid. You get the 7 days, 7 shots challenge, 1 shot a day, film day 1 and day 7. I don't like that. 7 days, 7 shots challenge, weekly film room, real games broken down, live on video, drills that fix one thing, not 50. We're going to get rid of that. St. Louis players finding partners, courts, and league nights. This is built for the 3.0 to 4.5 plus pickleball player. Okay, so super simple about page copy. It's not setting the world on fire. No marketing gurus are going to call me and be like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. It's crystal clear, it's to the point, and it's good enough to get us started. And that's really all you want with your first couple drafts of your about page. So we take that, we plug it in here, make sure the formatting looks good, we click save, and there you go. You have about page copy. Okay, so whenever you're doing pictures, we live in an age of AI, and it's totally okay to take your real picture and use AI to make it better. I personally don't like when people overly enhance or make a picture using AI that doesn't look anything like them. Now, since I'm pretending to be Zach and I'm not Zach, I don't have a lot of pictures of Zach just floating around my computer. Sorry to tell you. But I can go to Zach's Instagram and I'm going to try to find a decent looking picture of him here so that I can steal it and use it for his about page copy. Okay, well, he chose this one for his profile picture, so I'm going to assume that he likes this. When is this? This is Zach Shook. So first thing I would do is I would actually get Claude. I like Claude for writing and creating prompts. I like ChatGPT better for images. Again, you can do whichever one you want, but I'm actually going to go to Claude and I'm going to ask it to build me an image. So I'm going to say, hey, build me a prompt for an image that I can plug into ChatGPT. The dimensions to find out what dimensions we need, you click upload images. It tells you right here. And I want it to say Zach Shook Pickleball in the middle of the page and have Zach's image on the right side. I will upload the image to ChatGPT when I give the prompt. Under the title, let's use the home for St. Louis pickleball players, online school for pickleball players. So I'm going to have Claude build me the prompt to plug into ChatGPT because I like the images ChatGPT comes out with better. Take that prompt. I'm going to put it here. Going to get rid of that. Gonna say create an image. I'm also gonna upload the image I just took of Zach. All right. So this is the image it came. Oh, this looks great. Let's get rid of Gymshark. We're gonna leave the NPC hat. Zach Shook Pickleball, the online school for St. Louis. This, man, we live in a great time, guys. Could you remove the Gymshark logo on his shirt and replace it with the Skool logo? I'm attaching an image. And let's say your picture didn't turn out exactly like you want. It's so easy to make changes. So this is perfect. Now I'm going to take this image. I'm going to go to the About page. I'm going to upload this. That looks great. And I'm also a big fan of your cover photo matching, or at least being pretty close to this first photo. So I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to go to general. I'm going to change this, save. I'm simply going to ask ChatGPT to great. Now, can you make me a simple icon using best practices with these dimensions? All right. So you don't see often that people's picture are in the icon, but we're going to go with it. And again, these are all things that you can change later down the road if you want to. Boom. Okay. So now we have an icon. We have Zach Shook Pickleball. We have an image. We have the cover photo, and we have the about page copy. It's shaping up pretty good. What are we going to get into next? Next, we're going to start talking about the classroom, the way the classroom should be laid out, and the offer that you're going to provide your community. Okay, so now I want to get into what I call the Skool offer diamond. And shout out to Taki Moore. This is something I stole from him. He teaches the offer diamond. It's fantastic. If you ever get a chance to check out Taki's YouTube channel, it's amazing. Go check it out. I stole this, put Skool on the front of it, and catered it towards Skool because why not? And so I call this the Skool offer diamond. And you really have 5 things that you can offer inside your community. There are really only a handful of things that you can offer inside your community. The way I like to think about it is the big ones are classroom, calendar, community. And then the other 2 kind of leave up to the individual community itself or the owner, what they like, but proximity, which is access to you. So oftentimes we forget that to our community members, we are kind of famous. We're a bit of a celebrity. If you have a large social following or you're known in your area, you might also have a bit of celebrity status within your niche. And so we want to take advantage of that. And then the fifth area is challenges. And so when we look at this diamond, what we want to think about is how much emphasis do I want to put on each? And you can decide that by looking at the amount of time that you have to spend on your community and building the things that you want to build. You can think about, if you're coming in with a bunch of content already, maybe it makes sense for your biggest emphasis to be the classroom, and maybe the calendar isn't as important. If you don't have a classroom, you can still start a Skool community and just focus on calendar events. And so there's really no wrong way to go as long as you're offering something within all of these. And so we're going to go into that a little bit more later. But for now, let's look at the classroom and kind of how I look at the best way to structure a classroom. So if we go to Zach's classroom, we're going to see brand new page. Nothing's there. The different parts of a classroom that you want, you always need a Start Here course. So Start Here is basically just like, hey, as soon as you join, here's where you start, right? We want to give someone a roadmap, the obvious first step, so that anyone who comes into Zach's community and clicks classroom, they know where to start exactly. Okay, besides the Start Here, you want some sort of core content, right? So core content might be, if you're teaching a racket sport, it might be the first couple shots. It might be Zach's philosophy on pickleball. If you're more of a technique coach, it might be on technique and mastery, right? Whatever your core content, your core beliefs, the thing that, if you pulled a stranger off the street and they said, hey, explain to me how you think about your sport, that's your core content. And so we always want to have a Start Here and core content. Then it gets a little, different depending upon, what you want to put inside the community, depending upon what content you're bringing in with you. But the way I like to think about it is it's always nice to have some kind of template, shortcut. If you're in the sports area, it could be a drills. So Zach might do a drills library. Another thing that if you're a coach, whether it's sports, whether it's fitness, you can do reviews. So online reviews are a great way to supplement your income, to add more money to each member's lifetime value. It's a good place. If you don't currently do any kind of online reviews, you're really missing out on a lot of income, and you can offer that through your Skool community. So you would do live reviews or film reviews, if you want to call it film reviews. And the way you would structure these is you would actually put it as a buy now so that somebody could purchase it. You could do $45, you could do $99, you can do $1,000, whatever you would charge for someone to purchase a film review, you can put right here. And then whenever someone wants to purchase it, they would just go to the classroom, purchase it, and then you figure out how you're going to tell them to send you the film or whatever you're doing. And that's really it. You don't need a whole lot of things inside your classroom when you're first starting, especially if you're inviting people that know you. If you're inviting people that are willing to accept the fact that you're figuring your stuff out and that you're going to build as you go along, just let them know like, hey, this is new. I don't quite know what this is going to be yet. What I think this is going to be is this. And so we're starting here. And those people are willing to give you a little bit more leeway than a stranger off the street would. And so you really only need a couple modules. Really, you could get by with a Start Here for weeks before you ever build your core content. And so don't let the fact that you don't have content keep you from starting and actually inviting people to your Skool community. Because the other thing that you can lean heavily on is your calendar and proximity to you. Before we leave the classroom and go into the calendar, I want to show you one other thing I think is a great benefit of using Skool and the simplicity of it. So let's say Zach already has some content. Now, if you're a coach, you may already have some content that either you put on social or you didn't put on social. But regardless, if you already have videos, if you already have drills, if you already have a library of videos somewhere, they're so easy to add to Skool. So I'm going to show you exactly how to take a YouTube video. This won't be from Zach. It'll actually be from another client of mine. He does pickleball as well, Tanner Tomasi. He's known as the pickleball in under 60 seconds guy. It'll be one of his videos just because I know that he has a ton of them. And so I'm just going to show you how you can take a YouTube link, put it into your classroom, and start your modules really, really quickly.
Todd.
Okay, so say that this was one of Zach's videos, and it's how to do a two-handed backhand. You put a title there, you click this video button, you drop the link right here, and boom, you've uploaded your first lesson. Now, if you wanted to, you could also take the transcript, turn it into some words. This is how you do a handed backhand like Paris Todd. Click save, and there you go. You've already started your classroom. That's how easy it is to take a video. Now, if it's not on YouTube, it's an MP4 on your computer, you can also just load up an MP4. You don't have to do a YouTube link, but using a YouTube link is super easy. So the way the calendar works is you can go in here, and it's like any other calendar, you can create events. Those events can be whatever you want. Some people do hot seats, some people do Q&As. I've seen coaches do group film reviews, right? This is a great way to get everybody in the community together to watch film together while you analyze it and show them the things that you see. People love this, especially if you're a very technical coach or if you have a bunch of people who, rely on their technique and the things that they actually do on the court, and they want to see, other people make the same mistakes that they do, and usually it'll help them relate that to their game. And so to create your first calendar event, you just click create my own event. Might say, welcome to the community. You might say community kickoff call, put an emoji, give it a date. We'll say Monday, August 4th, because people love to start things on Mondays. Give it a time, duration, and you can put a little bit of information about it. Skool also has built-in calls, so you don't even have to leave the platform. You don't have to pay for Zoom. You don't have to deal with Google Meet. You can add those things in there if you have them, or you can just do a Skool call or a Skool webinar. The difference between a call and a webinar is a webinar, it highlights the person who's leading the call, and you have to actually bring someone on stage in order for them to talk and be seen by the rest of the people in the call. A Skool call, it's more like Zoom, where you can see everyone's faces and other people are able to talk. You can still mute them and everything. So if you have someone chewing a bunch of gum or ruffling some potato chip bags, you don't have to deal with that. But you don't need those extra tools, which is one of the biggest advantages of Skool, that you don't need all this extra stuff. It's all built within the platform itself, and it all comes with your subscription. So do a Skool call. You can upload a cover image if you want to. So let's say I wanted to do that image of Zach that we did earlier. I can give ChatGPT a prompt to make it more festive. So we take that image, we go here, we upload that cover image, and boom, we got a nice first call scheduled where we're going to celebrate the fact that people join the community. The link's right there for them to join. And now Zach just needs to fill in his group. All right, so we've done the about page. We've done the classroom. We've done the calendar. We've scheduled our first event. Now what do we need to do? Well, we need to have a start here post, a post that welcomes people as soon as they join. You want them to have something tells them they're in the right place. And so pretending I'm Zach, I would click write something. I'll say, another celebration. Welcome to Zach Shook Pickleball. Start here, right? Again, telling people, making it just like idiot proof that they know exactly what to look at first. This is my new community. Thank you all for joining. And you might want to point them in a certain direction. So let's pretend that Zach has a start here post, or he has some video welcoming people in and just saying hi, right? Zach's a nice guy sometimes. And so we want to showcase that right away. And so you want to put either a video in here. You can do a Loom video, right? Some simple, screen capture. You can do a polished video if you want, or he can just record it on his phone and upload it. So let's pretend that we have a start here post. Click here to know exactly what to do first. We would highlight this. We would put the link in here to the start here post, and let me show you where you can get that. Okay, so let's say this is Zach's start here post. I would click on it and I would grab this URL. I'd go over here. I'd highlight the hyperlink area, put the link in there, and boom, put a nice picture or GIF. You could do a GIF right here. Celebration, select a category, maybe it's announcements, post. We have our first post in the community that lets people know exactly what to do first. It welcomes them in. It lets them know, hey, you're in the right place. It's a little fun with the office GIF. And then if we want to pin that so that everyone sees it right away, we click the 3 dots and click pin to feed. And now it's right here. So we have our start here post. People know where to go. We have our classroom. We've uploaded some videos. We have our first event scheduled. We have our about page ready to go. Guys, we just created a community. There's one more area where I want to show you. So now that you have your community up and running and ready to go, you need to start filling it up. So what Zach is going to do is, since he has clients, and I would suggest this to you as well, is you're going to actually invite people in for free. or low cost. Or if you want to charge them, go ahead and charge them. But you want to invite people into your community, and it's easiest to start with people you know, people who have already given you money, people who like you, people who want to hang out with you and maybe learn from you some more. And so the best way to do that is to go to settings, go to invite, and you can either send them this link. You would click copy, send them this link, and that would force them to pay if it's a paid community, or they can get in for free through the about page. Or if you want to invite them directly, you go under here, you put in their email address. You can even import a CSV file. So if you have hundreds of clients and you just want to do them all at one time, you would click import and upload that file. Put the email address in here, you click send, and that person will get an email set saying Zach Shook Pickleball invited you to join. And it would come from noreply@skool.com. Sometimes those emails, almost always, go to spam. And so if the people you invited aren't joining, it might be worth reaching out to them and saying, hey, check your spam folder. I invited you to my community. So that becomes the best and quickest and easiest way to start a community. And then the other way that you want to start inviting people is if you have a social channel. Tell people, hey, I have a new community. Come join me. You might want to be a little bit more compelling than that, but essentially it's just about telling the world. Once you've built something to have success, you tell the world about it, and you just never stop telling the world about it if you want to keep going. So thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you learned a lot. And if you're a sports, fitness, or health coach and you're looking to start your own community, I would love to have you over at Great Community Leaders. That's my community. It's where I show you how to build and grow your community and start earning money from Skool.